So in this video, I want to discuss one of the most remarkable, maybe ahead of its times model that I've looked at over the last few years. And that model is Stable Cascade. And I'll explain why this image here in particular really stands out. But we'll take a look at some of the other images, maybe two or three images that I think really stood out from the ones that I was able to manage to get from Stable Cascade. Now, these images are not necessarily going to be perfect, but they are definitely going to be interesting. Now, this one here was, this is a Stable Cascade image. It's one which is produced from Stable Cascade without any kind of help. So there's no LoRa, there's nothing. But it's the first image that I remember that really sort of looked like a photograph, like just naturally looked like an actual black and white photograph. Now, it turns out Stable Cascade is very, very good at this kind of artistic rendition. And the image has not been resized. This is the actual size of the image. So at the time that Stable Cascade came out, it was producing the largest images of any of the models. It was significantly larger than SDXL. And the quality of the images was significantly better than SDXL. Now here, I think there's one negative point, which is that you can see there's, it's not really clear whether we're looking at a shadow or whether we're looking at hair across the eye there. It doesn't quite, the reasoning is not perfect. But otherwise, the quality of the images is pretty good. And it did two of these, which both of which were very good. Now, let's take, this is Charles Darwin. Really interesting photograph. This was another one that I really liked. And it's one which has got a very soft feel to it. It's got a few echoes of the Charles Darwin portrait as well. But here it's a very soft kind of soft lit portrait. And it has a kind of a photographic quality. Those of you who understand photography, you'll be able to see the kind of bokeh or light bokeh in the background. Now, this one, this model wasn't as badly censored as some other models. So you could try interesting stuff with the prompting. We'll take a look at maybe a negative from of Stable Cascade, which is, as intelligent as it is, sometimes it did certain things that were weird. And this, I don't know whether this was to do with the model or the Stable Cascade model or maybe the clip model that we were using. But whenever I asked it to draw Sherlock Holmes smoking a pipe, it really struggled with that. It gave us this sort of, you know, it's a pipe, I suppose. It's in two pieces. I guess plumbing, I don't know. But that's one thing that it really struggled with, and it was never able to draw a pipe at all. It was very good at plausible portraits. So if you drew a portrait, if you wanted it to show something that it had never seen before, it was very good at that. It was also very good at portraits where, you know, it's kind of taking historical figures into view, trying to bring them into life. Now, this one is interesting because the image you're looking at, these two images, they are not, I've not resized them. They're the actual size that Cascade was able to come up with. And at its best, it actually came out with really, really good quality, large scale images. Now the image is not perfect. This one is maybe a slightly better one. The eyes are not quite matching up in terms of color. And there's a bit of artifacting happening with the beard. That was a problem as you increase the size. But it was capable right from, without any kind of help, without any kind of enlargement, it was able to produce really, really large, very strong, pretty convincing portraits. And it was way ahead of SDXL in terms of that. And in some respects, it was actually ahead of the Flux models, which came out half a year later. Now, this is not the largest image that I managed to produce. And you can see it has quite a lot of intelligence. It's able to produce quite a lot of stuff. I think some people might recognize this character. I struggled a little bit with this one. And these photographs, the prompting is for a photographic style, but it really produces that sort of low fidelity kind of photographic feel. And I've really not come across many models that are capable of producing something that looks like a plausible photograph. In this case, it's supposed to be of an alien, and that was another really strong quality of Stable Cascade. It can produce images that are of something that it has never seen before. And in some respects, that was probably this one here in particular. Like, this looks like a photograph of something that you might see on a film set. It looks plausible, but obviously it's something that the model has never seen before. And maybe it's when it's working with things that it has never witnessed before. Maybe that's when it was particularly strong at that. It has a very strong creative talent. This is a simple image to image and another image to image. Really, really nice detail. I mean, you always find a few faults here and there, but all in all, the kind of photographic feel, the kind of artistic rendition, pretty amazing model. Now, this one here is probably the most amazing image which I got out of Stable Cascade. And the reason for that is not that it's Wonder Woman. Let's just zoom in. The amount of detail is pretty amazing. Now, this is a portrait which I think it was about 10 megapixels. Remember, with Stable Diffusion XL, we were doing 1 megapixel. With this guy, I managed to get it up to about 10 megapixels. This is not with enlargement. This is just straight out of Stable Cascade without any kind of enlargement. Just hit the prompt button, put the prompt in, and then hit the run button, and ComfyUI produced this. Now, this did take quite a long time to produce. It did take a huge amount of processing. And if you really zoom in, you'll see some errors which are fairly common with Stable Cascade. We won't go into them because it's not the point here. But really, even now, even like more than a year later, it's difficult to get images of this kind of glorious size just by hitting the render button. It was tough with Stable Cascade. I managed to get this portrait after running about 10 attempts. But it was able to produce really, really large images. And that's something which I haven't seen before. It's something I haven't seen since with diffusion models. And, you know, like with the really, really fancy ones from ChatGPT, from OpenAI, they can do about 1 megapixel. So they're fantastic. But this guy here has got some super strengths, superhero strengths. Oh, let me leave it at that. Anyway, there is a course if you're interested in Stable Cascade. I suppose it's almost kind of like historic now. But yeah, if you want to do a course in Stable Cascade, I'll have a link in the description. If you're a member, you'll have access to the course for free, and there will be a special link for channel members.
이제서야 깨달았어.